Hello and welcome to another Yellow Live webinar. Really excited about today. We have a special international guest, Aaron. You are our guest platform partner manager.
Great
and also look after some of our Utah-based fulfillment teams for SEO. And you're here to tell us all about how we can help small businesses in Australia get onto Google Page One. Now, Utah, I heard that's a little bit of the Silicon Valley new. What does that mean?
It's kind of been dubbed Silicon Slopes. There's a lot of tech companies there now. Microsoft, Adobe, Flash, Omniture. We've got a lot of web analytics companies there too. It's an exciting place to be. It's good. A lot of good tech stuff happening.
Well, we're looking forward to talking a lot about technology today. A little bit nerdy. I've never seen so many nerds in the same room. Another nerd, Eugene. How are you? You are our product manager for Census SEO.
That's
and
right.
You've just had a baby.
I have. Number two.
Wife.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's right. I haven't had it myself, but the wife, she did a fantastic job. Number two.
So what's easier at the moment, getting sleep or changing title tags?
I would be at work doing title tags if I could.
Had to think about it though.
Yeah. Well, this is not being broadcast to my house, so.
Well, welcome. And once again, we've got Damien Salter, our digital capability manager, who will be on the live chat. So please, we'd love to encourage you to put in your questions so that we can answer that. And in fact, we've got a number of SEO experts online to handle your questions via the chat or also via the phone if need be. And we're hoping to go through a couple of really important things. But essentially, the topic of today is really about how to get found on page one. So I might start with a little bit of a then and now. So when we look at the digital landscape used to be really, really simple. There weren't too many things a small business would have to worry about. An ad in the yellow pages, maybe a little bit of radio advertising or a letterbox drop. But however, we've seen over time the digital landscape has changed a huge amount. There's so many different businesses are buying businesses as well, and it's really hard to navigate. Aaron, what's been the biggest change that you can think of as far as the big four?
Yeah, I think really the biggest change for me is just accessibility for us to get answers to whatever we're looking for. And there's so many channels these days, and there's so much opportunity for small businesses to be out there and get new customers themselves.
Well, let's talk about a few of those channels, because whilst the topic today is really focused on search engine optimization or SEO, there's a number of channels that we have part of our solution stack for our customers. Yeah. Search engine marketing, internet directories, even social media. And I suppose that a lot of the digital part of that is really about getting people through your website and convincing them to become your customers. Today, the focus is on SEO specifically. So with SEO, that focus is straight down the line. I suppose many people refer to SEO as the purest form of getting people to your website.
Yeah.
Why do you love SEO?
I love SEO because it enables anybody to compete in the marketplace. So no matter what your business is, you specialize in something. You offer a product or a service, and SEO enables you to show up online so that people can find you. That's what it's exciting for me, is it sort of levels the playing field for us to get new customers.
Perfect, that's great. And I think it is a questionable one, leveling the playing field. I suppose there's a lot of concerns for a lot of small businesses out there on how do they compete with the big guys. For sure. And I'd love for us to address that later on. Coming back to the first page of Google, I suppose, and we'll bring that back up on screen. The first page of Google, there's a number of different spots, and we often talk about the ads that you can see there with the arrows on screen. Today we're not talking about the ads for those watching online. We're talking about the organic section. I've heard it called the unpaid section or the free section in the past. I suppose unpaid, we have a paid service. So what sort of goes into SEO?
Yeah, so maybe to give some context here as well, there's around 40,000 searches a second. Okay, and when you think here that a percentage click on those paid ads, and then around 80% click on the other results, the organic results, websites that have earned position through relevance and trust and showing the search engines that they're a really relevant answer. And so that is a lot of opportunity for our small businesses.
Yeah, look, the 80%, we often find that it's hard to get good numbers, and And this number you're seeing on screen at the moment is a research study that we commissioned from the US market.
Yep.
But in Australia, Yellow Pages online directories sit and get a lot of value from how Yellow Pages appears in that organic section as well.
Sure.
But I think the key here today is to look at how does a small business get their website to appear on page one, and on that page one, does it make a difference to be up the top or the bottom? I hear that there's a lot more clicks at the top, but what does human behaviour really do on that page one?
Yeah, so I mean, personally, when I go through a search of results, I'm going to look at from the top to the bottom, but I don't always click the first one, right? Because some of the others stick out and they speak to me more than the other results. But at the end of the day, if you're not on page one, you're not in the discussion. But statistically, roughly 60-65% will click on one of those top 3 positions. So the higher the better, but you've got to be in the game to be in the discussion, otherwise you're just not going to get those new customers.
Yeah, cool. So as we're on air today, on this Friday, it marks a pretty special occasion for a lot of nerds out there, which is the launch of the Australian launch of the iPhone X. That's the 10th one. We're going to take a short break and watch a video on the history of the different iPhones, because I think there's a lot of things we can learn from the evolution of the iPhone that have a direct relationship now to search engine optimization.
Cool. Let's do it.
So I look at that video and it amazes me, and thanks to obviously Mashable for putting that together, but so much has changed from a technical point of view with just that one product over time. It's amazing that so long ago voice was a part of their product, and now we've got some super amazing things like visual recognition of face to unlock your screen. Eugene, will you show us your iPhone 10 that you've purchased today, or did you not get one?
I haven't been down there yet, but I'll probably be lining up after this session.
We had him here. He can be alive.
He's probably a little bit sour at us, but pre-orders have gone gangbusters with that particular phone. I've heard that you now can't get one until May, based on the volume. So if there's anyone out there on the feed, and you might not have a question, we want your questions too, but love to see if there's anyone who's scored an iPhone today, an iPhone 10. But yeah, voice search, to be serious, is one of the things where we're transitioning into with search engine optimization. But before we get there, I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about how it's somewhat of a science.
Right.
So we'll put up on screen now a Search Engine Land document. It comes out every year, and you may have, some of your media sales advisors may have shared this with you and talked to you about it. Basically what it does is it takes a number of known SEO factors and puts them into a periodic table of the elements, so you can sort of see the different areas. Now, when I look at it, I always think, oh wow, it's more complicated. You've got different little numbers, just like in Scrabble, which push you up the list and down the list. How is someone supposed to focus their attention on this? But this year they've gone into a couple of colours for us. So let's just nick off a couple of concepts on this, and I'd encourage you. We can email this to you or go to Search Engine Land and download it. It's a pretty cool document. But the first thing that jumps to mind is just like Scrabble, and chemistry, can you pull these different elements together? Do they work together?
Yeah.
Are they independent factors? How do they correlate?
Yeah, so you know what's interesting? There's so many pieces that you need to do for SEO, and some are more important than others. And it is a bit of a science. And the key is to find an SEO product that really services all of these, and the result or the goal here is to help us get ranked. And this sort of chemistry, this science part, is Google understanding your website and what value you have to customers that are searching for you.
So there's 3 sections: on page, off page, and violation. So let's go through on the page SEO. What is on the page SEO?
Yeah, it's stuff that takes place on your website. So it's the content, it's the code, it's your descriptions for images, it's everything that takes place on the page. It could be, there are some technical pieces too, site speed, are there any errors or link errors, or the pages all connected properly, is there a sitemap, a robots file? So there's a lot of pieces, but on page, everything that takes place within that website.
I'd assume off page then is things like link building.
Absolutely, yeah.
What would is there a best answer for off page SEO, or one that you always do?
For off-page SEO, you're right. It's everything that takes place outside of the website, but that references the website. Mm-hmm. Usually through a link pointing back. That's how we develop trust and recognition and authority, so that when someone comes to Google and they're looking for something, well, you've got those links that are building your authority in your industry, and that's what helps you rank. And
trust is a really important thing, especially with Google. We have a whole category of violations there. I know that we often speak to our customers about white hat and black hat SEO techniques, and that to be honest, a lot of the time we have a conversation about our SEOs because someone may have had a bad experience with someone who may have not done the right thing, and it's a bit tricky for us to fix that. So what would you say a piece of advice for small businesses around violations?
Just make sure you don't cut corners. Make sure that you're with an SEO company that follows all of Google's guidelines, which they've posted publicly. And make sure, because you can fix them, but it's sometimes really hard work. So let's not violate them first. Just do everything the right way, the white hat way.
Got to keep Google happy.
Yep, keep them happy.
Fantastic. So Google's a bit like an elephant, and Google won't forget previous violations as much. It takes a bit of effort to wean them off. And just like chemistry again, I suppose there's a bit of a formula for success, and you've told me what the formula is, but I need you to take me through this formula for success. So on the next slide here, we've got one of the first pieces of that formula, which really starts with the website. Why should you do a website audit first?
Yeah. Well, it's really the application piece of that periodic table, right? It's what does all that chemistry and science stuff mean to me? And so as we do a website audit here, our eyes are automatically drawn to the red boxes, what needs to be fixed? Where am I lacking? Why am I currently not showing up? And so that's what a website audit helps us identify. And we've got some on-site things here, do we have the title tags correctly used? Do we have the descriptions? How fast is the site? Is the site mobile responsive? If it's not mobile responsive, then all those people that are using those iPhones, those new iPhone 10s today, they come to your site and they can't see it properly because it's not responsive. And so this really helps us identify what we need to do first.
I think this is on the screen, my eye goes straight to the red bits, and I can see there that the business is not mobile optimized. We know that Google is very, very strict on that today.
Yeah.
If you haven't done a website audit, that's one of the things that we want to do for you right now.
Let's get it done.
So we know that some of our sales experts out in the field are running through with their customers' audits. But if you haven't got one, pop your URL into the live chat and we'll get one done for you, and we'll send it off to you, because it really gives you a really good indication of what's not being done.
Exactly.
And
where we've fallen short.
I touched on mobile being really important. Mm-hmm. What are some of the other ones that you zero in on straight away to say, you know what, that needs to be fixed straight away?
Right. Well, you know what? Every website has a different background history, and every website has different needs. And so when we get a new customer that's looking for SEO, we're going to go through the audit and also talk with them about their goals. Some things are more important than others. If you're missing title tags, description tags, you're going to really struggle to portray that relevance to Google. If your site's a little bit slow, it's less of a big thing unless it's not loading at all. And so some of these are more important than others, and we will help identify which one should be worked on first.
So does that mean that if someone has a couple of red marks on their page, it's not the end of the world?
Correct, yep.
But it's definitely an area that we focus on. So moving along a bit more into the detail of that method or that formula for success, we talk a little bit about SEO math. So let's jump to that part of the process, because this is where the complex can become really simple.
Absolutely. So this is what it comes down to. We got that chemistry table, and here's what the takeaway is. It's on-site is your relevance. Off-site is how you build trust and authority in your industry. And so just like math, 2 plus 2 is always 4. It's never anything else. Relevance plus trust, if you're doing both of those things, then you will become the best answer. Okay, meaning you'll be able to get ranked on page 1 when someone's looking for your services. And that's the goal. So relevance plus trust, and then Google's going to refer you to everybody that's searching for your type of service and business.
Cool. Well, we're really passionate at Census about helping small businesses with their search engine marketing and search engine optimization. So let's take a quick break now and run one of our ads about search engine optimization. Let's have a chat about specialization.
Brilliant.
I don't know.
What don't you know? Sitting on top of Google search is what people want, so that's what I give.
Yeah, but couldn't we have put that money into actually getting the site ranked on Google?
Michael, do I look like a computer hacker?
No. No, you don't.
Okay, Aaron.
That's not what we do,
Clearly,
right?
that's not what we do. Eugene,
Face palm.
I think
Yeah.
this one's over to you. We've
Sure.
heard some tips about what is success. We've talked about how we can focus on certain areas, but when it comes to our product, why should small businesses choose Census SEO? What's the benefit to them?
Well, look, Census has over 5,000 keywords which we actively optimize for customers. We're doing that through with a tailored game plan for every customer. So we essentially look at each customer's goals, the keywords they are looking to rank for, or more importantly, the main products and services that they would like to rank for, and how they can become the best answer for customers looking for products and services which would resolve those answers or those questions. I think our technology, which is globally recognised, I think we're in top SEOs in Australia and globally as well, in the top 10. Our tech-enabled, people-driven processes and capability really takes us to the next level, I think. I think that's the kind of the advantages of having the scale that we have, that we bring to the Australian market. I think we can rest our hat on our transparency as well. I think we have a dashboard that effectively shows customers every activity that we deliver and what we produce to actually achieve the results that we do, which are market leading. And I think our overall process and methodology is really smarter. We have over 70,000 keywords that we're actively tracking every day. And we identify little ripples in the algorithm and essentially feed those back into our algorithms within our platform and technology that helps power smarter decision making. Again, enabled by technology and driven by the humans or our SEO experts. So really, it's a bit of a combination.
And you talked about a game plan, and you're going to come back later on with a special offer, which is available for today only if you do decide to partner with us. Because we have a plan. We have a plan to help you get on the first page of Google for 2018. But that is based on us being a successful partner with yourself, and also involves, as you touched on, the people and the technology. So Aaron, let's really focus on those two different layers, because they're probably just as important as each other. Can you help us understand the first part, the people layer?
Yeah, so first of all, when we start a campaign, we want to learn about the business. We want to learn what your business goals are so we can help you achieve those. Which services really mean the most to you to acquire new customers. And then once we've got that in place, we're going to establish which keywords represent transactional behavior so that you can rank for them and then obviously get those new customers into your business. So the first month or so, we're going to be working on that on-site changes, so that we can build the relevance, making changes to the content, the title tags, the code section, and then as we get that foundation in place, we're going to start with the off-site work, increasing trust and authority, and that's when you can expect rankings to improve in the first couple months. A big change sort of around month 3, month 4, and then our goal is to get you on page 1 before 6 months.
So it sort of steps up.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now the technology layer. So Eugene touched on scale being an advantage when it comes to SEO, and I know that Google makes lots of changes to its algorithm. So is that where the two sort of come together?
Yeah. So here's the cool part. Look, our SEO account managers, they go to bed. The technology never sleeps. So 24/7 auditing. Always keeping track of. We track every keyword every day. We plot that. We track the progression across the board. So we know when Google's making a change. We know when they're testing something new, and we know how that impacts our small business owners. And if your campaign is maybe slightly outside of that standard deviation of projected growth, our system's going to say, hey, look, underperforming keyword. We need to do a manual check. We need to see what's happening so we can improve the work here and help out our businesses.
It's a pretty important piece to the puzzle, because when Google first started doing algorithmic changes, it was quite orderly. I remember when I first started getting involved in digital marketing, there was a name for every algorithmic change. There was a definition, it was released, the SEO community would talk about it, and then they started doing more and more and more, and now they don't even tell you they're happening.
That's
so
right.
It must be up to thousands of tweaks or something
a
year?
There's over 500 a year, which is more than one a day. And we can see that the bigger ones, there was one towards the end of September, which they appear to roll back, which focused on a local aspect and search intent behind the query. And we see all of that. And we know that every strategy that we do is tested and proven, and collectively that diversified link profile that we're developing in a natural way for our small businesses is what's helping them rank.
Cool. Eugene, give us a case study. We've got a case study coming up.
Sure.
Where's the evidence and where's the story behind success with SEO?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do deliver success for SMBs every day. We're getting customers ranking on page 1 every day. An example of this is Plumbright Sunraysia, which is a plumber in Mildura. They joined us about 6 months ago, and just last month they actually contacted us wondering how it was going. We took them through the dashboard, showed them the growth, and within that time they actually they're on page 1 now, right? For Plumbers Mildura and 3 or 4 other keywords. But look, they came to us struggling to get onto page 1 where all their competitors were, and they really knew that that's where they needed to be. So again, they came to us. We worked with them really collaboratively from the start. We identified obviously the main products and services that they wanted to rank for. We had our keyword research team effectively go in and do a real deep dive on the right keywords to target, which were intent-based keywords, as you mentioned, Aaron. Those basically were collaboratively narrowed down to the target keywords we were going after, and we developed a unique strategy off the back of that, which included both on-site and off-site link building activities to effectively drive results for the customer.
So if I do SEO with Census, how likely am I going to be to get on page 1?
Look, I mean, there is every chance that if we're targeting the right competitiveness or the right keyword and the level of competitiveness, we have the right effort behind it, there's no reason we can't get to page 1 for typically anything. But we need to have the right effort behind it, and that's where it comes.
And Aaron, what are the numbers on that? So what percentage of keywords come?
That's a good point, because we track this, we track it carefully. And we know that over 80% of all the keywords we target reach page 1 within 6 months. And so that's quite high. But here's the cool part, is the 20% that don't.
The 20%.
That's because we're not given the keys to the car, right? And those are situations where we haven't been able to make on-site changes because we haven't been provided website access to make those, to increase the relevance, right? And so we're sort of hands are tied. But you know, even with that being the case, we have a really high success rate.
Yeah, so I think that's another reinforcement of, we started with talking about how important it is to get the website set up for success, and that involves us partnering with you to make sure that we can get in and make the changes that are required for success. Now, to put the nerd back on, I want to show a video, and I do need to apologise to the audience for this. I mentioned earlier on that we've been involved in watching search engine optimization for a number of years at Census, and there was always the mystique of what are the top ranking factors until a specific date, only last year when they actually came out, Google came out and told us what the top 3 were. So we're going to run this video. It's just a fraction of a really hour and 50-minute, really long, boring Q&A session, but I want to talk to some of the points that are made there. So let's just run a short clip of it.
Okay.
And it seems that RankBrain is one method of being able to spot. Gary Ilias's example was the word without. That one word was the most important word of the query. How can I complete this without such and such? Without couldn't be changed. So is that kind of where we're going with this? But Bill's point was, we've heard that this is the 3rd most important signal contributing to results now. Would it be beneficial to us to know what the first 2 is? Could webmasters build better sites if they knew what the first 2
I can tell you what they are. It's content and links pointing to your site.
In that order or the other order?
There is no order.
Cool. So there it is, RankBrain, content and links. What does that mean, and how did that change your approach?
Yeah, really, it's back to what we discussed earlier. It's keeping it simple. We're going to fix the stuff that's on your website first, that needs to be fixed. We're going to build the relevance, and then we're going to start doing some off-site work, increase that trust level through link building.
Yeah. So when we look at, and we'll just pop this up on screen for a really quick section. There's really 3 rules to it, isn't it? You start with the website design.
Yep.
You do that first. You then move on to the copy and the content. It's got targeted and relevant. How important is it that the content and the copy and the user experience on the site matches the consumer?
Well, it's absolutely imperative. We have to have that same message, right? If you're delivering a specific service, talk about it. If you're doing it a specific way, talk about it. And then when someone's looking for your service, well, you've got it, and you're showing Google that you're all relevant for that query.
And the reason why I asked that, and it was a loaded question, is because the techniques that we used to use were just pummel the keywords in, just have a page of keywords, page of location. So that's changed, has it?
Absolutely, it has.
Fantastic. Well, Damien, welcome to the table. You've been on the live chat for a bit. Damien's one of our capability managers.
Hey, Damien.
You've been...
Finally in front of the camera.
So good to have you there.
We keep him off to the corner quite a lot.
He's beautiful as well.
A good specimen. Do you have an iPhone X?
I don't.
No. Okay. So what sort of questions come up in your day-to-day? And has anything come up in the feed that you want us to ask Aaron while we've got him here?
Yeah, Michael, definitely there have been some questions flying around in the live chat, and thank you for those who've submitted them through. One of the common ones, which I know I get a lot and certainly popped up in the live chat, is businesses get phone calls and emails from companies about SEO providers all day, every day.
Yep.
How can they tell if an SEO provider is going to be dodgy or trustworthy?
Yeah. And not every SEO service is equal, right? Some cut corners, some unfortunately result in some of those violations. I would recommend that you ask your search engine optimization provider if they follow all of Google's guidelines. So are they transparent with every task? Do they outsource to places that are not natural language, right, for the tasks that need to be done? And we've got that link. We can probably send it out here with some of the information. But
absolutely,
we should definitely be following all of Google's guidelines.
Wonderful. Another one which has popped through is I've had an SEO provider contact me and offer me a guaranteed page 1 on Google.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, that happens a lot as well, and that goes against Google's own guidelines, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we can't guarantee. I mean, I mentioned earlier, right? Our success rate based on our data, 80% of our keywords will reach page 1 within 6 months. That's just what we've been able to achieve. And we believe it would be higher if we had access to make the recommended changes. But if you ask me today, hey, will you absolutely get me to page 1? I say we'll do everything within our power. We'll show you the progress. We'll show you every single task, and we'll continue to talk with you. We're not really here just to get you to page 1 with one keyword. We're here to increase your online visibility for all of your services.
You know, if you're going to guarantee anything, guarantee the effort or guarantee the approach.
That's exactly what we do.
Cool.
Very true. And finally, the last one that's come through, do I need to do SEO forever?
That's a good question. I mean, if you want to run a marathon, do you need to train forever, I guess? I strongly recommend that if you want to be visible, if you want to be on page one, if you want to be getting traffic and leads through the search engine, through even voice search, you should adapt and set aside marketing budget so that you can become the best answer.
Now you mentioned that you track a lot of stuff. So you have numbers on what happens when you turn SEO off?
Yes, you know what? The number one reason why people cancel SEO is they've reached page one. They've achieved it. And so they stop doing SEO work. And you know what? After 3 months, they're still somewhat relevant. They still build that trust. They're still there. In our data, you drop around about one position after 3 months. Once you hit 6 months without any SEO work, you fall an average of 31 positions. So you're on page 4.
So I suppose that's where it needs to be an always on, but you need to factor it in as part of your overall solution stack.
Absolutely.
So look at all the different channels that you're going to have as part of your marketing mix. Make sure SEO has a place in that picture which is always stable, and play with those numbers around that to get it to work for your business.
Perfect.
Now, we've been talking about a bit of the future and some of the new things that are coming. Let's talk about virtual assistants, Damien. I know you have a lot of experience with this, and what we're seeing on screen at the moment is some of the trends in some of the search terms around things like call mum or call dad or take me home and stuff like that, which is very much non-traditional search. So what can you tell us about where this is going to go?
Yeah, definitely, Michael. We know that voice search has been increasing aggressively in the past few years, and the advent of home-based assistants like Google Home or the Apple HomePod or the Amazon Echo is only going to increase that furthermore in Australia. We have seen a softening over recent times in voice search, but I think it's a really exciting time to be, imagining voice search and what it's capable of and what it's going to provide both businesses and end users.
And it really, I suppose, will become the future of SEO in many respects, as more people have more ways to connect with the internet. I don't see the index changing though. And do you want to talk a little bit to where you see the future of how Google will still collate all of the information about the websites, and how can someone be seen still, whether it be seen on screen high or be seen via a voice?
Yeah, I think Google will continue to develop their artificial intelligence. But what's exciting for me here is the easier it is for us to search by voice, the more searches we'll do, which means even more opportunities for our businesses to be the answers, right? And to get those calls, those leads, those new customers through their channels. That's really what the end piece is for me.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I know that recently there was because one of the devices I'm looking forward to is the Apple HomePod that's going to come out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I was quite amazed to see Apple do a big deal with Google again. It was, I think, about $3 billion part of that arrangement, and it basically kicked out Microsoft from Siri, and you've all seen the advertising on TV. So if you haven't got one of these devices for Christmas, it's a pretty easy Christmas present to get, and you just see more and more competition in this space as well. So I'm looking forward to what that brings to us in the future. So I might call back Eugene, because Eugene, you have a special offer for us, and I need to make sure that
What's he done now? What's he gone and drummed up?
And it better be good.
I do.
It better not be. Yeah, it better be.
I'm really excited. I'm actually really excited about this. I think this has been a fantastic opportunity to tell everybody about what SEO is today and what it is what it's going to be in the future. But more importantly, what opportunities there are. And I think 2018 is going to be a fantastic year. So in the lead up to 2018, we would like to ramp up your ability to get to page one, and we're going to double down on the first month. So we're going to basically give you double the amount of effort or work on the first month. Yep. So that'll give you that power that you need in the early stages to really kind of get us ramped up really quick. I think it's exciting, and yeah, by all means, getting off the back of this webinar, speak to your MSA and lock it in, and we'll get going for 2018.
So this is a limited offer if you want to partner with Census today with Census SEO to help you get on the first page of Google for next year. Aaron, the doubling down part is the key to this, right? So we talked about what's required to get success in SEO.
That's right.
What does the double down allow us to do being in November?
Yeah, so if you look at the rest of the year, we've got two months before the end of the year, and as I showed earlier, sort of how the SEO evolves as we do the
Well,
work.
I think we'll bring that back up on the screen because
Yeah,
this is
okay.
about that timeline, isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess what this means really for your small business is come January, February, when people are coming back after the summer holidays, is that's when you're really going to see that big initial movement after month 3, month 4, which means you're going to be primed and ready to hit page 1 around sort of March time, which is great. So I appreciate you, Gene, for putting in the money on that one.
And I saw that it's up to $2,000 worth of value, but we have a number of different tiers. So we have tiers ranging from $500 all the way through to $2,000, so you can get the right mix for your business. And what's really important about that is if essentially you double down on the 500, you get an extra worth of $500 worth of value. You double down on our $2,000 package, and you'll get an extra worth of $2,000 of effort in the first month. And that's if you sign up with Census today. So really excited about that, and thank you for bringing that little Christmas present to us to offer our customers. What I want to do now is, before we go, I think it's really important to do a whip around. We have a fantastic offer where we've got reps who are able to have conversations with our customers right now about how we can help them with their website.
Yeah.
But what are the key takeaways? So I might start with you, Eugene.
Sure.
What are the key takeaways that you think are success in SEO for small businesses in Australia?
Look, I think it's all about being the best answer for a person looking based on a problem or solution, or a problem that they have, or a need that they have. So on your on-site optimization side, really use human language and think about the user experience. You want to make sure that they're on there and they're engaging on your site. And then obviously site speed is critical. I think that the fact that so many people are searching on mobile now means it's more important than ever.
Fantastic. Now, Aaron, I'm going to put you on notice. I'm going to get you bust some myths for me.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's bust the myth on keywords.
Right.
Are keywords important anymore?
I mean, to a degree, they represent what you do, but to target specific keywords, it's different than SEM, right? We want to be relevant and ranked for all sort of keywords that represent intent on a browser side that relate to my business. And so, yeah, we want to get you ranked for a whole host of keywords. If we're targeting keyword A, then you're going to be ranking for keyword B, C, and D because they're all relevant as well.
Fantastic. And so, it's there's a thing called the halo effect.
Absolutely.
So do you want to just touch on that, because I think that's a really important part to the success of SEO.
Yeah. So there's a stat that roughly 10% of keywords every single day have never been searched before. So that represents the idea that as people we show our intent with longer search terms, right? And so the halo effect is as you become relevant for a short keyword that represents your core business. Well, Google also, as they look at and crawl your site, they see that you're relevant for a whole host of other related keywords. They might be longer, they might be transactional and show intent to take action. So that's really what that halo effect is.
I think this is where we'll see the shift over the next 6 to 12 months, where we'll see even more and more of that happening too. Absolutely. Because of the natural language that's coming through as Australians start adopting and using more frequently these devices that are coming through, like the Home Assistant that we saw. And just finally, I want to know what your top tips are. So what can you say to our customers to help us know how to get success in SEO?
Yeah, I would say number one, if you're on the fence, get off the fence. Make a decision, right? If every day that goes past is a day that you're not doing SEO work and potentially losing out on new customer acquisition. And every person I speak to that sees successes, like our plumber in Mildura, if he hadn't done it at that time, he's only living with regrets. And so there's a vast opportunity out there. We're not putting our phones away. We're not slowing down searching for what we need online. And so that's really where it's at, is increase your online visibility, get started today, got a great offer, and we're excited to help you out.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you got some value from having Aaron here and Eugene here as well. Thanks guys for coming and telling us how it is with SEO. Don't forget that we have Eugene's special offer, which is a today only offer. We will double down on the effort to help you get started and so you get success in 2018 with Census SEO. Stay on the line. Damien will be on chat with a number of other SEO experts. So if you have any questions, we look forward to answering them. And enjoy the rest of your day. Go out and get an iPhone. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. That was great.